Hi everyone. Today we're going to be going over multiplication and division. So first up will be multiplication. We're going to learn how to multiply 1 and 2 digit numbers, some practice problems, and homework. Introduction. Today we will be focusing on how multiplication can make numbers bigger. Together, let's explore how it works. Multiplying numbers. When we multiply a number by a whole number, the value of the number gets larger. For example, say we have 2 apples over here. 2 times 2, and this x right here is a symbol for times or multiplied by. 2 times 2, we get 4. So after multiplying the apples by 2, the number of apples becomes 4. So now let's look at an easier way to represent this. Multiplication is essentially repeated addition. Let's look at the example below. We had originally started with 2 apples. After multiplying it by 2, we got 4 apples. In other words, we can say 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 apples. From this visual diagram, we can clearly see how 2 times 2 is equivalent to 2 plus 2. They both get us the same answer of 4. So let's review. The last slide was a very simple problem. What do we have bigger, more complex problems? Such as 9 times 12. 9 times 12 is essentially the same thing as adding 9 12 times. This takes a lot of work though, so there are easier ways to solve this. We'll get into it later in the presentation. Let's watch a video, and I would like to give credits to Homeschool Pop for the YouTube video.
The truth is, not every child gets the chance to go to the movies. In North America alone, more than 20 million.
Today we are going to learn about multiplication. You're going to learn how to multiply, and if that sounds really scary or if that sounds like a difficult thing, it's just because you don't know how to do it yet. Once you learn the game, once you learn the process, it's fun, it's awesome. You see, multiplying is like being a detective. You're cracking a code, which is so cool. You're solving mysteries, like legit mysteries. Like I'm in an office building right now. There's a cake behind me. For some reason, I'm looking out right now at you guys, and I see that you're like, whoa, we're gonna multiply. And once you learn, it's just a game, so buckle in for the fun and the learning. Let's say you have 2 bikes, and for some reason they look the exact same, and somebody wants to give you an air pump. They ask a simple question: how many tires do you have to take care of? To figure that out, we're going to use multiplication. We're going to play the game. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so here is how multiplication works. So we put the number that's in each group, and then we put this x, which means times, and then the number of groups. So that tells us how many times that number is going to show up, and then we add them all together, and you've got your answer. Isn't that cool? And just a side note, to work, there has to be the same number in each group. Now remember, we're trying to figure out how many tires you have to take care of if you have 2 bicycles. Alright, now we have the wheels under each bike. Each bike has 2 wheels. 1, 2. So we write down a 2. Each bike has 2 wheels. Remember, the first number we write down with multiplication is the number in each group. Then we write an x. This x means times. 2 times. It's the symbol of multiplication. Alright, the second number we write are the number of groups. You can see them here. How many groups do we have of 2? How many? Yeah, 2. So it reads 2 times 2. To figure this out, we are going to skip count by 2. 2, 4. That means 2 times 2 equals 4. If you have 2 bikes, that means you have 4 wheels. 2 times is 4. Remember, this is how multiplication works. The number in each group times the number of groups equals your answer. Of course, to work, there has to be the same number in each group. Alright, let's take this to the next level. Let's say someone has 4 bikes. And here are their wheels. Woohoo! Yeah! You know how to do this now. Each bike has 2 wheels, so the first number we write down is the number 2. That's the number in each group. We're going to put the times symbol there and count the number of groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 2 times 4. This is so much fun. This is multiplication. Now let's skip count to get the answer. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 is our answer. There are 8 wheels. 2 times 4 equals 8. This is how multiplication works. We put the number in each group times the number of groups, and we get our answer. You're getting the hang of it. All right, let's try this one. Let's say you buy 3 packs of trading cards. Let's say each pack had 5 cards in it. That's a pretty good amount. So 3 packs of 5 cards. How many cards did you get in total? That's a really great question. Sounds like we're going to need to multiply. So each group has 5, so that's the first thing we write down, the number in each group. That's 5. Put the multiplication sign, which is the X, which means times. 5 times. How many groups are there? 1, 2, 3. So the second number is 3. 5 times 3. What's 5 times 3? We're going to skip count to find out. 5, 10, 15. 5 times 3 equals 15. You have 15 trading cards. Alright, this is how it works. You take the number in each group times the number of groups and you get your answer. Now here are some multiplication tricks that are going to be really sneaky ways that you can figure out multiplication problems really quickly. Here's the trick. If you multiply any number by 0, you always get 0. Always, you always get 0. Here's an example. 5 times 0 equals 0. When you have 0 groups of 5, that means you have 0. There are none. Whenever you multiply any number by 0, you always get 0. 100 times 0 equals 0. Even if 0 is the first number in the equation, you still always get 0 when you multiply by any number. For example, 0 times 11 equals 0. And 0 times 1,000 equals 0. If you multiply any number by 0, you always get 0. Oh, this has been so much fun. Here is the next trick. If you multiply any number by 1, it stays the same. Look at these. 7 times 1 equals 7. 100 times 1 equals 100. 33 times 1 equals 33. If you flip them, the answer stays the same. 1 times 7 equals 7. 1 times 100 equals 100. 1 times 33 equals 33. Honestly, the order of the multiplied numbers does not change the answer. If you were to flip the number of groups and the number in each group, you would still get the same answer. Though we still recommend this way. So simple. The number in each group times the number of groups to get your answer. So the two tricks have been, if you multiply any number by 0, you always get 0. And if you multiply any number by 1, it stays the same. The final multiplication trick is to use multiplication tables. They come in all shapes and sizes, but they are all helpful, especially as you're first learning how to multiply. Here are some examples of multiplication tables. There's a table for all of the numbers from 1 to 10. Some kids memorize tables like these so that they'll know right off the bat, in a moment, what an answer could be for certain multiplication problems. This is how multiplication works. The number in each group times the number of groups gives us our answer. Thanks for watching our video on multiplication. You were a great detective. We hope you had fun because it really is.
Alright, so that video was just solidifying what we went over earlier and to teach you some tricks on multiplication. So now let's move on to some practice problems. Satvik is preparing for a marathon. He goes to his local track and runs 5 laps. Each lap is 2 miles long. How many total miles does Satvik run? And so first, based on the video, what we can do is we can label 5 tracks. I have 1 track, 2 track, 3 tracks, 4 tracks, and 5 tracks. In the question, it says each lap is 2 miles long. If each lap is 2 miles long, then under tracks I wrote 2 miles, 2 miles, 2 miles, 2 miles, and 2 miles. We went over that multiplication is repeated addition. So we can just write 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is equal to 10. Or 2 times 5 is equal to 10. This works because we have the number in each group and the number of groups. 2 miles times 5 laps is equal to 10 miles. So, Satvik ran 10 miles. Let's do another practice problem. Arav eats 3 pies. Each pie has 6 slices. How many total slices does Arav eat? So I labeled 3 pies here. Here's the first one, the second one, and the third one. It says each pie has 6 slices, so under each one I wrote 6 slices. Again, we can use repeated addition. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is equal to 18. I wrote 6 3 times because there are 3 pies, which each have 6 slices. We can also write this as 6 times 3. The number in each group, which is 6 slices, multiplied by the number of groups, which is 3 pies. So 6 times 3 is equal to 18, which is the same answer from our repeated addition method. Arav ate 18 slices of pie. Let's do one more practice problem. Nikhil is studying for a big test. He decides to study for 4 days. and for 1 hour every day. How many hours does Nikhil study? So now I can write 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, and 1 hour. Remember when we talked about the multiplication rule for 1? Any number multiplied by 1 always equals that number. We have 4 days and 1 hour every day. That's essentially 1 times 4 or 4 times 1. It's the same thing. Any number multiplied by 1 stays the same. So if 4 is multiplied by 1, it will still equal 4. Nikhil studied for 4 hours. If you don't want to use that method, you can still use the repeated addition. The number of items in each group, which is 1 hour, times the number of groups.
Aniket, are you done?
Wait, what?
You're done with your class?
Oh, no, I'm doing it. Wait, can I not hear me?
Yeah, yeah. No, just it's my like I was looking here.
Is
Yeah, go ahead, go
anything?
ahead.
Alright. So we can just use 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 4. Nikhil studied for 4 hours. Now we can move on to another method called long multiplication. This is a certain method where you arrange the numbers in a vertical type form. It is very useful for solving very complex multiplication problems with lots of digits. Let's do an example. Let's say we have the problem 15 multiplied by 9. We can start by putting the numbers vertically from each other, with the bigger one on top. We now have 15 times 9, arranged in this format. 15 on top times 9 times symbol, multiplication symbol, and next to that 9 under the ones digit in 15. We can start with the ones place. In 15, the ones place is 5. In 9, the ones place is 9. It's the only digit. So we multiply 5 times 9, which gets us 45. We take 45 and I analyze it. 4 is the tens place and 5 is the ones place. We write 5 under the 9, separated by a line. We have to do something with that 4 though, so we can place it above the 1 in 15. The 1 is a tens value, and the 4 from 45 is also a tens value, so that's why we place it up there. Now we can multiply the 1's value on the bottom by the 10th digit on the top. This means we can multiply 9 by 1. This gets us 9. We have 9 and we still have the 4 on top. We can add 4 to 9, which is 13. Since there are no more digits to add or multiply, we can write 13 on the bottom next to the 5. This all becomes one big number, which is 135. That's really all the basics of multiplication. So if you want, you can practice some. Here are 6 simple problems, and here are 3 long multiplication problems for you to practice. Alright, hopefully you copied that down somewhere or already did a few problems. Now let's move on. Now we will learn the basics of division. First, we will take an intro to division, learn some simple division, and use a method for complex division called long division. I'm sure you noticed that multiplication and division's methods are kind of similar. They are long multiplication and long division. That's because the methods are kind of similar, but I'll get into that later. In this lesson, we will learn how whole number division makes numbers smaller. Let's explore how it works. So now we still have our apple scenario. When we divide a number by a whole number, the value of the number gets smaller. So say we have 2 apples, like before. If we divide 2 by 2, and this slash right here is a symbol for division. I say a symbol, not the symbol, because there are multiple symbols for division. Now, this might seem confusing at first, but here's a simpler way to think about it. Imagine 2 people and 2 apples. Start with the 2 apples. When you divide 2 by 2, you are basically distributing the 2 apples among the 2 groups, or in this case, the 2 people, to find out how many apples any one person has. If you want each person to have the same number of apples, and you have 2 apples, the solution would to give each of them 1 apple. Therefore, the answer is 1. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. You can also think about this in a trick. We had tricks for multiplication, and we also have tricks for division. Any number divided by that same number is always equal to 1. 2 divided by 2. Those numbers are the same, so it equals 1. You can even have 100 divided by 100, but that still equals 1. So let's review what we just learned. Dividing whole numbers makes the value smaller than they originally were. You can use the trick of the number of items distributed evenly among a certain number of people. Let's watch another video on division. Credits to Homeschool Pop for the video.
We tried everything, but Charlie still struggled with math. Then another mom.
Today we are going to learn about division. Division is such an awesome thing to be able to do, and you're going to have it all figured out. You're going to learn how to divide in this video. And we're going to start off with a story. There's this kid named Ethan, and Ethan loves carrots. He loves carrots so much. He loves to snack on them. He loves when he gets to eat them. They're crunchy, they're tasty. Yeah, carrots are awesome. In fact, I'm literally eating a carrot right now as I'm speaking. Carrots are great for your skin. Carrots are great for your eyes. They're amazing. They're a great snack. And Ethan loves them. Well, Ethan has 2 friends over, Kevin and Chloe, and they start to get hungry. Of course, they all love carrots because carrots are like the perfect snack. Now, in Ethan's house, there are only 3 carrots. They're just 3 carrots. We are going to have to divide the 3 carrots amongst the 3 kids. So let's figure this out. How many carrots does each kid get? Do you know? Each kid gets 1 carrot. Pretty simple, right? 3 carrots, 3 kids, each kid gets 1 carrot. Hey, did you know we just did division? We just did division. Division is pretty simple. You see, division is splitting a number up by any given number. That's it, just splitting a number up. Let's look at our story again. There were 3 carrots, and we divided those 3 carrots by 3 because there are 3 people, right? The 3 kids that love carrots.
And this is what I was talking about in our example before. You have 3 divided by 3. Oh, and also this is another symbol for division. A dot, a line, and then a dot. 3 divided by 3. These numbers are both the same. So the answer is 1. Each person gets 1 carrot.
And the answer of how many carrots each kid gets is 1. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. Notice right here is the division sign. This is what it looks like. When you see that sign, you could just say divided by. So this reads 3 divided by 3 equals 1. Let's try another example of division. Let's say there are 8 presents. 8 presents, and there are 4 women, and we want each of the women to get the same amount of presents as the other women because we want it to be fair. Notice the division sign. We are going to divide or split up 8 by 4. Remember, to divide is to split up. Let's split these presents up into 4 equal groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, how many presents does each woman get? 2. Each woman gets 2 presents. Isn't that cool? Division is so much fun and it's so easy. Remember, division is splitting a number up by any given number. That's it. All right, now it's time for division facts. We're going to learn some pretty interesting facts about division, and you're going to be like, what? Oh my goodness! Like secrets. This is super cool, okay? So just look around, all right? Make sure, all right, so who's clear? All right, it's time for division facts. The first fact is this. You can never divide by 0. It's true, you can never divide by 0, even if you're a rule breaker and you're like, I'm gonna do whatever I want. You still can never divide by 0. In fact, if a teacher ever gives you a test and you see a problem where you have to divide a number by 0, just write on the test, undefined. Because that's exactly what that answer would be, undefined. It's impossible. Kind of like Mr. Whisker's math skills. Does Mr. Whiskers do math in his head all day long? Who knows? His math skills are undefined. We just don't know. It's impossible to know. You know, Mr. Whiskers might know how to do division. Who knows? Undefined. You can't divide by 0. You can never divide by 0. If you ever see any division problem dividing by 0, just write undefined. It's impossible. It's impossible. So just write undefined. The second fact is this. You can write the division sign 3 ways. Not just with that traditional division sign. You can write it like the division sign, or you can write a division problem with the slash, or with a horizontal line. For example, look at this. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. That's the original division sign, the one that you might see more regularly. But here is the same equation written in a different way. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. It's still a division sign, but it's a slash. It means the same thing as the original division sign. Remember, the division sign can also be a horizontal line. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. That looks like a fraction, doesn't it? The line in a fraction means divided by. These are the 3 ways that you can write the division sign. Pretty interesting. All right, the final fact is this. Okay, this is so awesome. You can flip the number of groups and the number in each group, and the division problem stays true. For example, 10 divided by 2 equals 5, and you can flip the 2 and the 5, and it stays true. That means 10 divided by 5 equals 2. Isn't that interesting? 10 divided by 2 equals 5, and 10 divided by 5 equals 2. You can flip the number of groups and the number in each group, and it still stays true. Or look at this. 18 divided by 6 equals 3. Remember, we can flip the number of groups and the number in each group, and it still stays true. So we could switch the 6 and the 3, and it stays true. So 18 divided by 3 equals 6. The 6 and the 3 can be flipped. So 18 divided by 6 equals 3, and 18 divided by 3 equals 6. Pretty nifty. Those were some cool facts. You know, division is a great time. Division is splitting a number up by any given number. It's a lot of fun, and we hope you learned a whole lot in this video. Hey, thanks for watching Homeschool Pop. Yeah, I love carrots. You know, I
Alright, so that was just a basic intro to division. Now let's move on. Let's go with some practice problems. Satvik is preparing for a marathon. He goes to his local track and runs 10 miles. He runs 5 laps. How many miles is each lap? So we have 10 total miles that are split evenly among 5 laps. Since there are 5 laps that total 10 miles, we just need to find out how many times 5 goes into 10. 5, we can count by 5s. 5, 10. We can see that 5 goes into 10 2 times. Therefore, each lap is 2 miles long. And another way you can think about this is we have 10 total miles, 10 divided by, that are split evenly among 5 laps. 10 divided by 5. This gets us 2 miles, so each lap is 2 miles long. Let's move on to another one. Arav eats 18 slices of pie. He eats 3 pies. Given that each pie has the same number of slices, how many pies did Arav eat? Oh wait, this question is worded a bit incorrectly. Alright, instead of how many pies Arav ate, just imagine that's changed to how many slices does each pie have? So we have 18 slices of pie that are split evenly into 3 pies. Since there are 3 pies, we just need to find out how many times 3 goes into 18. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. We can see that 3 goes into 18 6 times. Therefore, each pie has 6 slices. Again, you can think about this as 18 total slices of pie split evenly or divided by 3 pies. Whenever you see split evenly or split evenly into, you can automatically think division, division, division. Let's move on to another practice problem, our last. Nikhil is studying for a big test. He wants to study for 7 hours in total. If he wants to study for the same amount of time each day for 7 days, how many hours must he study each day to reach his 7-hour goal? Now this question might look like a lot, but it's actually not a lot work-wise. Just break it apart. He wants to study for 7 hours in total, so 7 hours of studying. He wants to study for the same amount of time each day for 7 days. So the 7 hours of studying needs to be split evenly among 7 days. And remember, whenever you see split evenly, you automatically think division, division, division. So now we need to find out how many hours he must study each day to reach his 7-hour goal. So since he needs to study for 7 hours and 7 days, we need to find out how many times 7 goes into 7. 7 goes into 7 exactly 1 time. Therefore, Nikhil must study 1 hour each day to reach his 7-hour goal. Another way you can think about this is the trick we went over in the beginning of the presentation. We have 7 hours of studying, total, split evenly or divided by 7 days. 7 divided by 7. These numbers are the same. And remember, a number divided by the same exact number is always equal to 1. We can use this trick to get our answer faster. So, Nikhil must study for 1 hour each day to reach his 7-hour goal. Now, let's move on to the long division method. Long division is a method used for very large numbers. It's a common method used for solving complex division problems. Let's take an example. We have 36 divided by 6. This right here, let me laser your pointer. This symbol or division is the symbol for a long division. 36 divided by 6. Before we begin the example problem, let's look at some vocabulary. Quotient, the answer to a division problem. Remainder, the number left over when one integer is divided by another. Right here we have 36 divided by 6. This number is called the divisor, the number outside the long division sign. It's the number you are dividing by. For example, 36 divided by 6. The divisor always comes after the divided by. This number 36 is called the dividend, and it is a number inside the long division operator. So you see, if you have this right here, the long division operator, the value inside of it is the dividend, and the value outside of it, which is 6, is considered the divisor. The dividend is a number that is being divided. So 36 divided by 6. Now let's move on to an example problem. 225 divided by 15. First, let's identify our divisor and dividend. Remember, our dividend is the one inside the long division operator, 225. That must only leave our divisor to be 15, the one outside the operator. We have the example problem 225 divided by 15. We can set it up like as follows, above. We take the divisor, which is 15, and start going over to the dividend, which is 225. We distribute 15 among each digit of the dividend. We take the first digit of the dividend, which is 2, and see if 15 can go into 2. Since 15 is bigger than 2, it cannot. We now take the first two numbers of the dividend, which is 22. 22 is bigger than 15, so 15 can go into 22. We just need to figure out how many times. 15 can go into 22 one time. Now we write 1 above the last digit of 22 because we decided to put 15 into 22. Now we have on the bottom a 1 above the 22. And this vocabulary is here in case you forget anything. Alright, so now we can move on to step 7. We now take the 1 and the 15, 1 and the 15, and multiply them. Remember, anything multiplied by 1 stays the same. 15 multiplied by 1 is 15. Since you use the first two digits of the dividend, we subtract 15 from 22. So now 22 minus 15 gets us 7. Our problem now looks like this. The 1 is still above the 22, and now we have a 7. We don't quite put 15 into 7, so I'll show you what we do next. We can now move on to step 8. So now we move on to the next digit of the dividend, which you can notice is also the last, and this is important to our quotient, which again is the answer to a division problem. This might seem weird, but the more time you practice with long division, it'll seem more easy to do. We bring the 5 down to the 7. So now we combine those two values, 5 into 75. Since we have a new value and there are no more values to get down, we need to see how many times 15, our divisor, can go into 75. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. We can see that 15 goes into 75 5 times. We can write 5 above the last digit in 225. So we write 5 above the 5. To further complete the problem, we can multiply 5 by 15. And this is the same reason why we multiplied 1 by 15. 5 times 15 is 75. And we have a 75 here, so we just take it out. Minus 75 equals to 0. This number 0 is very significant, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Our quotient is now complete. It is 15. This means that 15 goes into 225 15 times. The quotient here, when multiplied by the divisor, will always get you the dividend. Same thing. The dividend divided by the quotient will always get you the divisor. These numbers are interchangeable, in other words. And remember the remainder. This number 0 tells us that there is no remainder. 0 is this no value, so there's no remainder. This means that 15 goes into 225 evenly 15 times. Thanks for listening, everyone, and I hope you have a great day. See you next time.